an end to mass immigration. They want us to expel illegal aliens and criminals from our countries.
The word of the year in 2025, according to the Financial Times, was remigration. When you say remigration, what do you mean by that word?
You don't feel at home anymore when you are walking in your own city. Everywhere Muslims, everywhere the headscarves, everywhere the men with the strange beards. I don't feel at home anymore in The Hague, and I think we need to fight it. And that's what the Party for Freedom, founded by Geert Wilders, is doing every day. And we need to take back what was ours. That was our freedom in our Dutch society. And the Islam should not have a place in our society in the way it is now.
My name is Stefan Tompson. I'm the founder of V24, and I'm here with Sebastian Cruz, a member of the European Parliament for PVV.
Thank you for hosting me.
Wilders' party. Sebastian?
Yes, my name is Sebastian Cruz, member of the European Parliament for the Dutch Party for Freedom, founded by Geert Wilders, and happy to be here and to meet you all guys.
Sebastian, what is your main mission in the European Parliament? What is the main topic that inspires you to be a politician and that drives you to get up in the morning and go to work and sit in that European Parliament and talk in the plenary and get things done? What is motivating you?
Well, our main motivation as a party is to suppress mass migration, or as we call it now, invasion. That's what we are voted for. And of course, we got many other committees in the European Parliament, which I'm responsible for. I'm not the main spokesperson on fighting migration, but what I do is international trade, the Israel delegation, and the internal market committee.
Why do you think that fighting mass migration is so important for Europeans?
Well, I think I was a city councillor in The Hague, and what you saw in many big cities in the Netherlands is that they turned into something unrecognizable, and that's because of the Islamization of the Netherlands and I think Western Europe in general. So what you see is that you don't feel at home anymore when you are walking in your own city, and it has turned into something which does remind me, for example, to Islamabad in Pakistan. It's everywhere Muslims, everywhere the headscarves, everywhere the men with the strange beards. I don't feel at home anymore in The Hague, and I think we need to fight it. And that's what the Party for Freedom, founded by Geert Wilders, is doing every day, even in the national parliament and in the European Parliament.
Give me specific examples of how Islamization impacts citizens, ordinary citizens, on a daily basis in the Netherlands. What are some concrete examples of the impact? You told me about walking around a city and not feeling at home, but what are some of the things that have made life objectively worse for the Dutch because of this mass Islamic migration?
Well, look at what happened to our inner cities, and look at what happened with the churches. They were replaced by mosques. We got now in Holland only more than 500 mosques, and we are
500.
We are a Judeo-Christian society, although we were supposed to be. And now it looks more like an Islamic country and cities. So what we need to do is we need to turn the tide, and we must say we will defend our culture at any cost. Because when you look at the consequences of mass migration in The Hague and in the Netherlands in general, we saw that we gave in on security, we gave in on our culture, and the most important thing, I think, is freedom. And then we need to take back what was ours. That was our freedom in our Dutch society, and the Islam should not have a place in our society in the way it is now.
Your party leader, Geert Wilders, has lived under police security for over 2 decades.
Yes.
So has Ayaan Hirsi Ali. Theo van Gogh, who made a film with Ayaan many years ago, was famously murdered. The editorial board of Charlie Hebdo, including Stéphane Charbonnier, were massacred in their own offices by Islamists. You are an outspoken critic of Islam. You're a member of the European Parliament for a party that is very outspoken on this topic. Are you afraid?
No, I'm never afraid. I want to fight to take back what's from us, and that's our freedom and that's our culture. And I think Geert Wilders is not afraid, has never been. But you also mentioning now many incidents. And when you look all across Western Europe, it's incident after incident, attacks after attacks. Look at what's happening to our security in Western Europe as a result of Islamization. So I think we should be courageous to stand together and to fight back, and we also should name it what it is. It is an Islamic invasion, and we don't want Islamic invasion, we want Islamic remigration, back to where they come from.
The word of the year in 2025, according to the Financial Times, was remigration. The topic of remigration has been a political taboo that most people on the right have been too afraid to even mention. It's been the domain of the extreme right. Increasing amounts of politicians are openly saying we need remigration. What do you mean when you say remigration? What do you mean by that word?
Well, I think in the first place, we should like give people the opportunity to go back from where they come from. We should make available the possibilities to go back. And I think also our government can help to to get them back to where they come from. But on the other hand, we should also, like the people with 2 passports, when they are
Dual
like committing
citizens.
crimes, or when they are only like depending on social welfare, that should be also like indicators that people do not want to be part of our society, and that should be also a reason to kick them out, to take back their second nationality, that's then the Dutch nationality, so they can go back to where they come from. That would help, and that would also make our nation better and safer.
When you talk about remigration and you look at Dutch society, how many people in your ideal world would you like to remigrate from the Netherlands?
Yeah, but that's a dangerous question.
I know, it's why I'm asking it.
Well, but I think, yeah, what can I say now? I might be in trouble now, but I think at least, yeah, tens of thousands, at least.
Sebastian, we've talked at length about the people who have come to Europe, and they've come over several generations. It's a process that has happened over 3-4 generations now. It's accelerated massively over the last decade. But the people who are coming have come because people have let them in.
Yes.
Do you feel frustrated with the politicians, the liberals, the progressives, the leftists, the socialists who have enabled this?
Yes, absolutely. I have an ongoing fight against everything left to the center, and that's for almost 2 decades now as well. So I think what they did on purpose was hurting our society, was giving in on security of our people, and they do not live in the neighborhoods where the migrants come. They always live in other neighborhoods without the consequences of migration. So in general, I think they don't even know on many occasions what's happening in the inner cities of our towns. So I think we should hold them like accountable for what they did. And of course, it's also up to the voters, in especially the Netherlands, to vote for the right parties. And that's not on the left side, that is on the freedom side, and that is the Party for Freedom.
One of the most horrific cases in Europe that was massively ignored is the ongoing grooming gang scandal in the United Kingdom that was led by predominantly Pakistani men, or men of Pakistani issue, 2nd and 3rd generation in some cases, that abused mostly white working class girls over several decades, a period of several decades. We're talking about in the potentially tens of thousands of young, vulnerable, white, working British class girls in towns like Bradford, Rochdale, Rotherham, Birmingham, and every other town in the United Kingdom that had a significant minority of Pakistanis that were abused, raped, tortured in some cases, and in others killed. And this was ignored by mainstream media. I, as a man who owns a media channel, as a journalist, I'm incredibly hurt by the fact that this betrayal of the media class, whose job it was to protect the people of Europe and to tell their stories, that this was ignored. Have cases like this happened in your country, in the Netherlands?
Well, I don't think on the scale as which it happened in the UK. And of course, we thank Mr. Tommy Robinson for doing his best to expose this story as well. But we saw also in August last year in the Netherlands that an asylum seeker killed a young 17-year-old Dutch girl. And that's not an incident, it's happening all the time. When you look at the places where they put the migrants, when they come in, like the asylum seekers and their centers, it always leads to more criminality, violence, and like people from the Netherlands feel unsafe because of it. So that's what's now at the moment one of the main issues of our party, is that our leader Geert Wilders is doing a tour in the Netherlands to visit all the municipalities which are facing the consequences of that invasion, and that we also address the concerns the Dutch people have on those topics, and that we are standing with them, behind them, and do everything we can to push back on what's happening now.
One of the obvious consequences of mass migration from predominantly Muslim countries is a rise of anti-Semitism that we have seen from London all the way across the continent. We have seen massive marches across London, across Madrid, across Berlin, across Barcelona and Rome. Tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people going out into the street, chanting "from the river to the sea," in some cases chanting Hamas slogans, in others holding memorabilia and holding items related to Hamas headbands, sometimes the flags of Islamic terrorist organizations. There has been a massive wave of anti-Semitism. Is this something that you have also observed in the Netherlands?
No, absolutely. Like like right after the October 7 atrocities here in Israel, you saw in the Netherlands already days after it, big demonstrations by Muslims, by left-wing activists who also joined their forces. And that's what you see also in Dutch universities. We have like occupations, we have like Jewish students who feel afraid to be who they are on their universities in the Netherlands. We saw also within our politics that also, for example, a member of parliament from the Labour Party in the Netherlands, she submitted a motion.
What's her name?
Kati Piri. Nasty, ugly women, very nasty. And like she submitted a motion to stop the delivery of supplies needed for here the Iron Dome. And that's not, there's no good reason for that. That is anti-Semitism. It's being normalized by the left, even though they are embracing it. And that's what we should acknowledge, and we should hold them accountable also for that, because I think it's a disgrace. What Israel is doing now is defending themselves, and it's not that they are doing anything wrong. And I think we should learn from them. We should stand with them, and I hope that we also take their doings as an example for what we should do.
What are some of the things that you would like the Netherlands and European countries to adopt from the Israelis? What are some things that they've done right?
Acknowledge who is the threat, who is your security risk. They are doing it now for decades, and they are, I think, now safer than before October 7. And that's what you need to do, because look at what's happening in our inner cities. Like the Hamas militants, they are fighting here in Gaza. They are also within our cities. The Islamic youth, not all of them, but many of them, they share the same ideas and the same sick ideology. And I think that's something we need to recognize, that Islam is not our friend, it's our enemy, and we should confront them.
There has been an initiative in the European Parliament led by Charlie Weimers from the Swedish Democrats and led by Emmanuel Fracas from the Greek Solution, both members of the ECR, to ban Al Jazeera on one hand and Al Jazeera Arabic on the other from broadcasting on the territory of the European Union. Qatar has been one of the main state funders of terror groups. They have been linked to terrorism around the globe. What do you think about banning a media outlet like Al Jazeera from broadcasting in the European Union?
Well, I think they also banned like the Russian state television in the European Union. In general, I'm not so much in favor of banning things, but I think if you do it with the Russian media, then we at least should also do Al Jazeera. It's a news outlet sponsored by terrorist organizations, and I think that you can say of the Qatari government that they are, in my opinion, a terrorist organization, because look at what they are doing all around the world. Look who they are financing, look who they are financing, and I think we should recognize also that problem, the risk which comes from state funding, for example from Qatar. Look what's happening in the funds which goes to Dutch mosques. We got many very radical mosques, and we should get a grip on who's funding them, who's speaking there. What are the believers being taught by the imams? And when it's possible, we should always close the mosque, because we have more than enough mosques in the Netherlands.
Everything we've discussed in this brief conversation is very depressing.
Well,
Are you optimistic, Sebastian? Are you optimistic about the future of the Netherlands and the future of the West more broadly?
now at the moment not from the Netherlands, because they are now forming a minority government in the Netherlands with not us included, so that's a bad sign. But I think when you look at movements which are starting to rise in Europe, in France, in Austria, in Germany, I think at least it gives us reason to hope, but hope is not enough to win. And I think we need to win. That was also like yesterday evening, like the Prime Minister Netanyahu taught the attendees of the conference. We need to win, because if we don't win, we are lost, and that's no option.
Sebastian, what a pleasure.
It was a pleasure to meet you.